You may have already died countless times. You just never knew it. Because in every moment of death, your consciousness automatically jumps to another universe, where you survive. It sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, but quantum physicists are seriously discussing this chilling theory known as quantum immortality. What does it mean? It means you can never truly die. It means that in some parallel universe, you might be trapped in unimaginable pain, and that pain has no end. In 2007, physicist Max Tegmark from MIT proposed a mind-bending idea. If the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics is true, then your consciousness will only ever experience the branches in which you continue to exist. In other words, from your subjective point of view, you will never experience death. You might think that sounds like good news, but once you realize that in some universes, you could be trapped in endless suffering, immortality is no longer a blessing. It becomes the most terrifying curse imaginable. To understand this theory, we first need to talk about one of the strangest concepts in quantum physics, superposition. In our everyday world, when you flip a coin, it's either heads or tails before it lands. Can't be both. But in the quantum world, things work very differently. Particle can exist in multiple states at once. An electron can be in several places simultaneously. A photon can travel along two paths at the same time. Even stranger, the moment you try to observe it, it instantly chooses a state, collapsing into a definite outcome. It's as if reality itself only exists when we look at it. In 1935, physicist Erwin Schrödinger proposed one of the most famous thought experiments in physics. To illustrate this absurdity, he imagined a cat locked in a sealed box, along with a vial of poison and a tiny piece of radioactive material. If the atom decays within an hour, a mechanism breaks the vial and the cat dies. If it doesn't decay, the cat lives. Here's the key. According to quantum mechanics, until you open the box, the atom is both decayed and undecayed, in a superposition, which means the cat is both dead and alive at the same time. That sounds insane. How can a cat be both dead and alive? Even Schrödinger himself found the idea absurd. He created the thought experiment to criticize the then dominant Copenhagen interpretation. Ironically, his mocking experiment became one of the most important ideas in quantum theory because it exposed a deeper question. If microscopic particles can exist in superposition, then could the macroscopic world, including us, also exist in multiple states? In 1957, a young physicist named Hugh Everett offered a daring answer: the many worlds interpretation. He proposed that the wave function never actually collapses. Every time a quantum event occurs, the universe splits. Every possible outcome happens in a different branch of reality. Back to Schrödinger's cat. The moment you open the box, the universe splits in two. In one universe, the cat dies. In another, it lives. Two versions of you exist in two parallel worlds, each witnessing a different outcome. Sounds crazy, but this theory elegantly solves the biggest paradoxes in quantum mechanics. No need for collapse. No need for special observers. Everything just unfolds naturally. But if it's true, what are the consequences? In 1987, computer scientist Hans Moravec proposed a haunting extension of this idea: quantum immortality. Imagine an extreme experiment, the quantum suicide test. You sit in a special chair with a gun in front of you. Every time you pull the trigger, a quantum event decides whether the gun fires. A 50-50 chance. According to the many worlds interpretation, each pull splits the universe into two branches. In one, you die. In the other, you live. Here's the crucial part. In the branch where you die, your consciousness ceases to exist. You never experience your death. But in the branch where you survive, your consciousness continues. From your perspective, no matter how many times you pull the trigger, you always find yourself alive, because you can only ever experience the branches where you survive. To you, it feels as though you've become immortal. At first, you might think, I'm just lucky, but after surviving 10, 20, 100 pulls, you realize it's not luck. It's something deeper, and that's where the nightmare begins. Quantum immortality doesn't guarantee happiness. It only guarantees survival. Imagine you're in a terrible car crash. In most universes, you die instantly, but in one extremely rare branch, you survive, paralyzed in endless pain. Your consciousness jumps into that branch, and you continue to exist, trapped in a body that can't die. As time passes, you watch everyone around you age and die, but you keep on living. 100 years, 200, 500. Your body decays, but never truly dies. Every disease that should have killed you fails to do so in one improbable branch. Every accident leaves one surviving version. You are trapped in an endlessly deteriorating shell, unable to die, unable to escape. That's the true horror of quantum immortality. Professor Tegmark points out that death isn't a single event. It's the result of countless quantum interactions, occurring across your entire body. Perhaps, in the end, every path still leads to death. Perhaps quantum immortality is only a mathematical illusion. But what if it isn't? What if the you right now is simply the version that survived? After countless deaths in countless universes, maybe you've had moments like this, a car crash that should have killed you, but you walked away unharmed, a miraculous recovery doctors can't explain, a near-death experience, where everything turned out fine against all odds. Were those really coincidences? Or did you actually die in another universe, while your consciousness continued here? That could even explain strange phenomena, like the Mandela effect, where large groups of people remember events differently from recorded history. Many recall Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, yet in this universe, he died in 2013. Why do so many people misremember the same thing? Maybe we really have shifted between universes, we just don't remember the jump. Quantum decoherence suggests that the process of switching realities is unnoticeable. Your memory automatically syncs with the new branch, erasing all traces of the previous one. But sometimes, tiny cracks appear, a sense of déjà vu, a scene that feels oddly familiar, a conversation you swear never happened, yet someone insists it did. Maybe these aren't just coincidences. Maybe you really did live those moments in another reality, and now you're simply the version that kept going. So, is quantum immortality real? The scientific community remains cautious. The theory can't be verified externally. It can only be experienced subjectively. Yet logically, if the many worlds interpretation is true, quantum immortality follows almost inevitably, and the many worlds idea is gaining more and more respect among physicists, even serving as a foundation for quantum computing. Maybe death isn't the end. Maybe it's just a seamless transition, a shift you can never perceive. Maybe you really have died countless times, and every time, your consciousness leapt to the one branch where you survived. Maybe the you right now is the last version still opening your eyes. If that's true, then each of us is walking an unimaginably rare path, the path of the survivor. And perhaps that's the most unsettling truth of all. Not death itself, but the fact that you can never truly die. You keep waking up in another surviving reality, saying goodbye to the countless versions of yourself that didn't make it, until one day, you can no longer remember who you are, where you came from, or where you're going. You just keep living, and that alone is strange enough. So cherish this moment, because you'll never know in which universe the next version of you will open their eyes and what fate they'll face.